all three services to realize how big this church is, but also how wonderful this church is. I'm telling you. God opened my eyes to that. It's wider than ever before. Being here, all three services. You know that you're part of a big church when your name is the bulletin to preach, and most of the church has no clue who you are. Maybe that's just fine. But, it's great to be here. I appreciate you coming. I appreciate the worship here and the staff. And you talked about being ready for anything. This staff that God has blessed us with here is not only ready for the worship services and ready for the things that are part of our church, but I think that their heart is so into getting us ready to meet the Lord. It's just a wonderful place to come. If you've been here, it's your first time here, I know they invite you to go back with the right shoulder, go back to get a gift and a welcome packet. But my admonishment to you is this one-day wonder preacher today is to come back. That's the best thing you could do. The best decision you could make this week is to come back. This is your first time. Because this is where it's at. My wife and I have been here for 4 years now. You're saying, gosh, 4 years, I don't even know. We need to work on that, don't we? 4 years we've been here, and it's been such a breath of fresh air. Not just to meet you and to worship with you and to see just all the right things in place that God has brought. This church is ready. It's growing, but it's ready to explode. And I'm hoping that now that we've hired Pastor Jim and his wife Brenda as outreach ministers, and I just really believe that a new chapter is going to be turned here. And we're going to really see the church grow, not so much because of what's happening up here, but because of what you're doing out there. That's what today is all about. That's what the message this morning is all about. And so, Ann, on behalf of my wife, who's sitting back in the way in the back row, the rest of the backsliders, is that what you say? That's where I sit. On behalf of my wife and I, we just want to thank you for just being who you are and for the privilege we have of being able to be one of you and to grow and serve the Lord together. Yesterday, June 6th, 2 years ago, 65 years ago to be exact, we commemorate the greatest military invasion of the modern era. I know that some of you think of D-Day and Normandy, and we've got to hear about that again. But the first service, you wouldn't believe how many hands went up. I won't ask this service, but maybe I will. But how many hands went up, people that were there that remembered that day? How many here remember, maybe you weren't at Normandy, but you remember when that happened, when D-Day took place? Anybody? Raise your hand. There's a few of you here. You know the fearfulness, the apprehension, not knowing if it was going to work. The war was definitely not going our way up until that point. But the massive invasion that American and Allied forces conducted, starting on that day, 65 years ago yesterday, turned the tide. And turned back the forces of Hitler and of Mussolini and everyone else that was trying to rob us of our freedom and way of life. The beginning and the end of that started yesterday, 65 years ago. Up to a year, or perhaps over a year of planning went into that. Military operational planning, production of equipment, the assembly lines in America, the staging of equipment in the right places, all the logistics involved in preparing and getting ready for that. All the training. Incredible training. I mean, the soldiers and sailors, everyone who participated, the fighter pilots, the bombers, all had been trained up to here. They needed to start putting that training into practice. Can you imagine all that went into ensuring that day that the forces of freedom were ready to go when the time came? Imagine all the apprehension and uncertainty, the fear that went along with that. History as we know it wasn't written yet. We didn't know we were going to win. We didn't know we were going to succeed. And so it was a very, very fearful time. But America and its allies paid the price to get ready for that operation, and were ready when it came time. And that's what we're all about as a church. That's what we're going to talk about briefly this morning. is the process of getting ready, what we're getting ready for, and why we need to be ready when the opportunity comes. Okay? General Eisenhower weighed all the factors. He analyzed the weather reports. And he finally, it was on his shoulders, he made the decision to go. Ready or not, here we come. Just like in the game hide and seek that we played as kids. With those fearful, sobering words, ready or not, here I come. Remember that? If only the Germans could hear that when Eisenhower made that decision. Here we come, we're ready. And whether you're ready or not, we're coming. And he did, and we won. Just think, folks, how much of our lifetime is spent getting ready for things. I started to just think about, just make a little list here of the things that we get ready for. We got ready for bed last night. Some people take forever to get ready for bed. Don't say anything. We're getting ready for supper. Getting ready for work or for school. Pretty soon, boys and girls, you're going to have to. We get ready for church. I think we get ready for church oftentimes with appearance and things like that, and don't get ourselves ready for church. We work on that. We get ready for exams. We get ready for inspections. We get ready for job interviews. We get ready for Christmas. We get ready for birthdays. We get ready for vacations. We get ready for company coming over. We get ready for moving, change of seasons, change of jobs. Women especially, you know, it's like we get ready to change of clothes, right? Most of our waking day is spent getting ready for something. And even as we go to sleep at night, we're getting our bodies and minds ready to start all over again the next day. So even in sleep, we're getting ready for something. The question right now that I'd like to ask is, as Christians, those who are followers of Christ, are you and I taking the time that we need to really get ready for the important things? Are we taking the time, day in, week week out, month to month, to really get ready for the things that God has called us to be and to do for Him? There's a difference between getting ready and being ready. Jesus in what's called the Olivet Discourse, where he was in the Mount of Olives, and the disciples came to him and asked, what's it going to be like before you come back again? And in Matthew 24 and Luke 21, I believe it is, and Mark 13, we see this discourse that Jesus gave his disciples about what the world would be like, what the human heart would be like, that we would be open to deception like never before, that we would be open to immorality and godlessness like never before. And so he spent time painting a picture, as you were, of what the world and what the human heart would be like. But all through that discourse, he kept interjecting, be on the watch, be on guard, be on the alert, be ready. If you read that, go back and read it this week, you'll see that all through that discourse of what things were going to happen, he kept saying, make sure you're ready. Make sure you're on the alert. Don't be caught off guard. Right? Over and over and over again. Because we just don't know when it's going to happen. We don't know when he's going to come back. We don't know when we're going to meet him in death.